There's everything in the state of California, so it definitely is not outside of the realm of possibility for people to be seeing things that may or may not really be there.
Right, and Mount Shasta is there, and Mount Shasta has a reputation for among UFO watchers because that supposedly UFO, the Spanish that came first, or venerated by even just the various people that went west, in the founding of America. So there's a lot to California, and some of it is really eerie. So yeah, and I mean, and just heck, a half-hour drive through Bakersfield will make you crazy some days. So
and also will make your eyes water, but that's another show.
That's a different story too. Yeah. So, as I said, the possible explanations are the Brocken Spectre theory, and then other theories are basically tricks of the light. That it's not a real thing, you're just seeing a trick of the light. Which, to me, is the Brocken Spectre theory, just not put in any sort of scientific terms.
Sure.
Now, before we get into the other half of this...
Can we be sponsored?
I was going to say, let's take a moment to hear the word from our sponsors. Okay, so that was the Dark Watchers, but now that it's time for us to meet the Fresno Night Crawlers. Now, when I say the Fresno Night Crawlers, I'm not talking about guys taking pictures for the paper and have the night beat where they get to run into all the weird stuff. I ain't talking about that.
Also not a creepy guy that you kicked out of the girls' bathroom at 10 o'clock at night at Target.
Exactly. What I am talking about are some very strange creatures. It's also been spotted in Yosemite, where footage was again taken from what appears to be a security camera. And most of the footage we have of them comes from security cameras. It has been studied by the TV show Fact or Faked on the Sci-Fi Channel, and according to their experts, there was nothing faked about the video. It appeared to be real video of something that the security camera, all less than 0.5 meters, and the feet of the creatures can be clearly seen, as well as what appears to be some sort of webbing connected from the knees to the upper body. The cryptid has also been videotaped in Poland, and they seem to be like big round spheres on legs with feet, but there's no arms.
Sounds like a half frog, half fly spider thingy.
What?
All I'm saying is it sounds annoying.
Well, there have been many possible sightings of the Nightcrawler, a thin, armless, pale white humanoid creature.
Ooh, no.
And nobody knows what they are. They appear to be relatively short creatures, approximately 1.5 meters tall, with most of their height being made up of their legs, as they possess an extremely small upper body. It is hard to find details on the upper body of the cryptid due to the poor quality of the footage because they are security cameras. It is an extremely thin, white humanoid with no discernible arms. A larger specimen appears to have webbing connected from each knee to the torso. The cryptids appear to have very short, very thin, stilt-like feet. It is hard to judge the exact characteristics of the cryptids in the footage due to the poor quality. One was seen in Carmel, California, and they call that the Carmel Area Creature because whereas the Nightcrawlers are white, the Carmel Area Creature was tall and gray.
these called again? Cryptids. I know that it's California cryptids. These are called Nightcrawlers, right?
Yes.
Fresno Night Crawlers.
Fresno Night Crawlers. They're called that because the first sighting happened in Fresno, California by a man named Jose. Jose had a surveillance camera watching his front lawn and looked at the camera when he heard his dog barking. And when he was looking at the camera, he saw these two white creatures walking across his lawn. Big spheres, long legs, little feet. Mm-hmm. So that sphere could be its upper body. It could be just a head. Nobody knows.
Are you looking for one, Crystal?
No, I found one.
Oh, she's looking at it. Yep, that's what they say.
They look stupid.
They do look a little fakey.
Look at them.
They do, but it's security camera footage. They've been caught dozens of times. The first video was caught in 2007.
Uh-huh.
This is cute though.
And that was Jose. He was aroused from sleep by the barking of his dogs. He stumbled from his bedroom out to where he had set up the security monitor. The camera pointed out over his lawn, which he had set up in response to an early incident where he'd caught someone trying to steal from him. But what he saw now didn't look like a person. It was a white creature, 2 to 3 feet tall, supported on long legs with no real upper body to speak of. It looked like nothing he had ever seen before. If anything, the closest thing it resembled was a pair of white pajama pants traipsing across his lawn.
Mm.
Now, he took the footage to Victor Camacho, who has quite the paranormal resume under his belt. He's the director of, I'm going to say this wrong, the Desvelado Network in L.A. and the host of the radio show Los Desvelados, which means the Sleepless Ones. And it's been on the air for 20 years in both the U.S. and Mexico. Each night, the show discusses a wide range of topics from UFOs, paranormal legends, forbidden archaeology, conspiracies, and even other realities. So basically like our show.
Gotcha.
Except in Spanish.
Well, I'm a little older.
So, yeah, by a year or two.
Or 18.
Now, Jose has put the video out. He does not want anything to do with it. He hasn't even made a comment on it. He doesn't want anything to do with it, but that's not uncommon in Hispanic men or women, and that they don't like to deal with things that seem occultish.
Fair enough.
And that's probably pretty smart on their part.
Absolutely.
Now, sometime after that footage came out, a motorist who was 17-year-olds at the time, in 2004, allegedly saw something on the side of the road while driving one night in Manchester, Indiana. It was thin, with the long legs, looked humanoid without truly being human. It moved oddly as if disjointed and was described similar to the creatures in Fresno with one major difference. This one was over 6 feet tall. A second car passed the figure containing 2 elderly passengers who also saw the being. They conferred with the other motorists and all 3 agrees that what they had seen was not human.
Wow.
Now, a second video came out of Yosemite Park in 2011, which wasn't too far from where we used to live.
Right. Neither was Fresno.
No. Fresno was only an hour away. And I want to say Yosemite
is right next to it.
Yeah. So, the second video footage was caught on Yosemite National Park security camera. They were hoping to identify a group of vandals who had been stealing and damaging private property. Needless to say, they were pretty spooked to see what really showed up. And what really showed up was 2 of these creatures, both about 3 feet tall, long legs, sort of melon-shaped, tiny upper bodies, just walking by. In 2014, there was a sighting in Ohio. A 60-year-old ex-Marine and his wife were driving in 2014, and they saw a 7-foot-tall, slender creature. So again, tall.
Yep.
In 2015, a Reddit user, posted the following. So recently I was visiting my mother's place in Lompoc, California, which is right outside of Vandenberg AFB, Air Force Base, which has tons of sightings that the military will never confirm. Anyway, my mother lives on the outskirts of the town near the junction that joins the one and the town, and on the hill overlooking the town, I saw a black figure walking alongside the hill. It was about a quarter size of a telephone pole and was relatively skinny. It had no arms and appeared to walk in the same manner, except hunched it over slightly as if it was looking for something. At the time, I freaked out, this being my first sighting, and I walked inside and told everyone. Since then, my dog starts barking at things that aren't there, and she rarely barks at things unless it has a chance of it being harmful to the family. We would let her outside at night. She only barks at nothing at night. And she would run in circles to the fence, the gate, the bushes, and back to the gate. It is usually extremely foggy. Another conspiracy accepted by the citizens of Lompoc about the military having a weather device to shroud their base in secrecy at night. So I guess the people of Lompoc are conspiracy theorists. I'm just guessing here.
Well, I mean, if you got all this weird crap going on, might as well.
Now, in 2017, it was seen in Poland. This time, it appears to be a handheld camera, judging from the shakiness of the footage. The creature cannot be seen for too long, but appears to have similar traits to the larger one taped in Yosemite.
It's a glockenspiel.
Now, some explanations are that it's a deer, and that because of a weird reflection, you're seeing the front and the back of the deer. That's why the bigger and the smaller, but you're not seeing the middle.
No.
It can't be that. I just watched the video of it. It's not. No.
So that's one theory. Some people think it's a new species. Some people think it's a hoax, that someone is hoaxing people with, like, they've taken pajama pants and basically turned them into Muppets. Or a person wearing big pants and walking on stilts. But for the smaller ones, that doesn't make any sense. If it's only 3 feet tall, is it a 4-year-old on stilts?
A 4-year-old come up on stilts.
So, mostly it's thought to be a hoax. But they're showing up on security camera footage. How do you hoax that?
Great question. I mean, you could dress up, maybe. Have a kid dress up, maybe.
So, that is a Fresno Night Crawler. Overall, I've said my piece on Dark Watchers, which is, if what you see is this sort of hazy-looking thing that's a silhouette-ish, then you're looking at probably a Brocken Spectre, just a reflected shadow. But if it's got details, then it's definitely not a shadow, because shadows don't have details. You don't see the fold of a cloak on a shadow. You don't see the crease of a brim on a hat on a shadow. It's just a blocky shape, you know?
Right.
And so I think there's got to be